What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping back into Destiny 2 with some news and updates, and in this one we've got some small updates from Bungie regarding exotics and rewards. They talk about bonus rep weeks for Vanguard, and we also have news about Destiny 2's additional media in film and TV, which is pretty exciting. And then we're going to talk about secrets this season, new content this week, plus exotic glitches. And Bungie talk a bit more about Hive Guardians, weapon archetypes in Year 5, and raid rotations for Witch Queens. So we've got quite a lot to break down in the video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, be sure to get subscribed to the channel for more Destiny content, but now let's get into it. Starting out today with some quick updates from Bungie, and Bungie help tweeted saying that the Wicked Overgrowth Iron Banner shader can now be obtained. So maybe you got that one, and if not, it will be available as intended for the next event. Additionally, the Decrypting the Darkness quest can now be acquired and completed, and Bungie increased the Parallax trajectory cap from 1,500 to 3,000. And that's definitely a useful change considering how much of it we have to use for Umbral Engrams, upgrades, opening chests and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely better to be able to hold more of it in our inventories. Additionally, for any folks who are having issues getting their Witch Queen pre-order items on PlayStation and Xbox, Bungie Help said that issue should be fixed, and pre-order items will be available at Master Raoul. DMG also gave a brief preview for TWAB, and he said short TWAB this week. Trials is back on Friday, and we'll have a refresher for folks as they prepare for battle. And so this week at Bungie will be focused primarily around Trials of Osiris, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in game on Friday. A lot of players have also been asking about Nothing Manacles. Players are speculating that they're bugged and aren't offering the level of tracking that they should be. However, Bungie hadn't acknowledged this until Cosmo said, "We're looking into it," so we should at least get an indication as to whether they are bugged or performing as intended inside of Destiny 2. And when some players asked about getting Vanguard double and triple XP weeks, DMG said the boosts have been streamlined to 2 times for the full week, and the Vanguard will have 2 times weeks in the future. So Vanguard is going to get significant rep bonuses on certain weeks this season, which will certainly be useful when working towards the new ritual rewards. Now though, a separate update that's worth mentioning. I'm sure a few of you remember earlier this year, Bungie announced that they are expanding the Destiny universe as well as the studios. But specifically for Destiny, they're looking into additional media. So there's been speculation about comics, books, film and TV stuff. But Bungie are now looking for a senior executive for development in film, TV, and transmedia, who will drive projects that extend the Destiny franchise into new categories, including TV, films, books, comics, and audio formats. And it says in the role that you'll identify, select, guide, collaborate, and provide feedback to third parties and partners, enabling them to tell additional myths in the Destiny universe that delight our fans, while capturing the hearts and minds of new audiences. The required skills for the listing also says they're looking for someone who's been credited on multiple series and films, with experience in animation, scripted television development, or current programming. And so that's definitely pretty exciting stuff, and absolutely means there is a very real possibility of seeing additional Destiny media in video format, however exactly that works. And so give us your thoughts about it down below. And for now, it kind of gives us a more solid idea of what Bungie are working towards. In the game though this week, another reset has come to pass, and we've got access to the Ruins of Wrath Ascendant Realm. This one's really cool with a Hive warship featuring this huge shrine, but also, as always, it's got lots of mysteries. There are plenty of chests and collectibles we can grab right now, but also what is obviously some future content. Some folks have glitched into this giant tower in the map, and there are hidden chests within, but inside the base of the tower is a room which is pretty identical to the central room on the Cauldron PvP map. And additionally, there are also pyres around the realm, very much like those that we saw in the Xenophage quest. So that could be another upcoming mystery. After we rescue the Techian in the mission though, we hear a conversation between Petra and the crew, which does get a little bit heated. And Crew wants the opportunity to talk with Savathun. However, Petra doesn't think that's such a good idea. So here is the dialogue if you missed any of it.
Osiris was like family to me.
You've never even met him.
I know. Just let me speak to Savathun, please.
No. I won't give that witch another chance to dig her claws into you.
Maybe she's right, Crow.
You know I am. Savathun is already in your head. You're a liability to the mission.
Why do you have such a problem with me, Petra? 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking.
The Queen of the Reef forbids it.
Well, I don't take commands from the Queen of the Reef.
Savathun unraveled the Dreaming City with a single wish. I've spent years trying to contain that mistake. Better men than you died because of it.
To my ear, it sounds like you're the liability. Maybe your queen's trust in you was misplaced. A knife against a hunter? I'd be more careful who you pick fights with.
Another step, and my corsairs will have to prepare you a second grave.
Save it for the hive, both of you. This isn't getting us anywhere. Thank you. We could all probably use a minute to cool off. Oh no.
Keep both eyes on that one.
Afterwards, Crow expresses his frustration at feeling like who he was still haunts him today, and it feels like Petra, among others, are penalizing him because of who he once was. And so another pretty cool week of story. It also appears as though Crow is kind of coming out of his shell. We're starting to see more of his opinions and he's becoming more confident. And it's going to be interesting to see how his character continues to play out over the next few months. Additionally though, gameplay-wise, we also got a third Tracing the Stars quest, and this is the final one that I can see listed. So I'm curious to see how we'll activate the 4th Gatehouse node next week. And regardless, it seems like Aegis Scepter is something that we'll be getting in the next couple of weeks potentially, so that's pretty cool. Another spoiler alert is necessary right here, but on the subject of the season's exotic, some players have actually had a glitch where the vault beyond the Caliburn Gatehouse that houses Aegis Scepter has actually become available early, and Roderick Morgan shared a clip right here of them going into the gatehouse and the portal to the vault actually being open. However, it isn't actually possible to claim the weapon. Just thought it was pretty interesting. Of course, Bungie had showed the vault off in the trailer, so it is stuff that we've seen, and we should be getting that exotic quest relatively soon. Now though, we have some new interview segments to look at from Polygon, and they've been speaking to developers about upcoming content in the game. So firstly, they speak about weapon archetypes, and Ryan Gilliam asked about trace rifles. Of course, all of them are exotic in the game at the moment. And Joe Blackburn said, you can look back at our track record here. You may remember when swords were just exotic, right? I remember when there was only one sidearm in the game. This is something that as we explore, we're really excited about pushing some of those. Of course, that's a slight indication that we could possibly see legendary trace rifles or trace rifles used in different formats. And Joe Blackburn went on to say that some exotic-only weapons need to stay exotic to be unique, things like Legend of Acreus and the tractor cannon. However, not every unique exotic falls into that category. Joe Blackburn went on to say, Dead Man's Tale is pretty cool, right? But also Cold Hard is pretty cool. These are all of the things that we look at in the future and say, we're as excited as the community about a bunch of what these weapons can do. And Justin Truman speaks about the potential play space for weapons like trace rifles, and the fact that if they are to bring any of those archetypes over as legendaries, they'd be looking to release a whole slew of weapons. So that's pretty interesting. Maybe some content that could affect Witch Queen, or even more likely be stuff that they release in year 5. They also spoke about Hive Guardians though, and Justin Truman and Joe Blackburn speak about the challenges that Hive Guardians bring to the field. They said, we want it to feel like you're fighting you. We want it to feel like you're fighting something that you understand. And the playing field has been leveled in a bunch of interesting ways. When we think about a Hive Guardian going down, you can see some of that with a ghost orbiting around there. And you know that, hey, this thing is going to come back alive if I don't deal with it. I've got a res timer in PvE. Mine might say 30 seconds, but I don't know what theirs say. And I know that they're going to be smashing the X button soon to get back alive, right? So he speaks about that element where Hive Guardians, of course, need to have their light fully extinguished when we destroy their ghost. And that really will be one of the interesting combat elements for the enemy type, right? And is also why they're going to behave a little bit more like champions and high priority targets, as opposed to all of the mobs in an encounter being Hive Guardians. They also spoke about how the glaive kind of factors into that, being able to shield and use that as an opportunity to destroy a Hive Guardian's ghost inside of combat, while also being attacked by other enemies. And so Hive Guardians are going to have this new lethality where it kind of feels like an enemy player inside of the Crucible has suddenly entered a PvE arena. Let us know what you think about that. They speak about raids in Year 5 as well, and specifically, Polygon asked questions about the raid rotation. In Age of Triumph, of course, we had a rotation of featured raids with different drops, and they asked Blackburn if we should expect something similar. And so he said there's a lot here that we're probably excited to talk about more in the future as it gets hardened up, but you've outlined a bunch of cool ways for this to expand. And so they're still finalizing exactly how that stuff's going to work, but they probably will be playing with some similar things to what we had in the Age of Triumph raid rotation. And they suggested in that separate interview with PC Gamer that they're going to bring back one of the bigger raids from Destiny 1, so we're probably not going to see Crota's End in Year 5, but more likely Wrath of the Machine, or indeed King's Fall. And so give us any thoughts you may have, but separately in one of those PC Gamer interviews, Joe Blackburn had said, that they are thinking about seasonal mods and some of the seasonal rotation of content, and they know they need to make that better, but are also looking at the accessibility of different mods in the artifact and kind of opening up access to more of the mods at one time between resets and things like that. So that's another improvement that they're looking at for some point in the future, as well as a few extra things about Witch Queen, and I'll link all of those full interviews in the description box below. But for today, guys, that's what we have to round up inside of this video. So I hope you've enjoyed it as always, and if you have, a rating below really does help us out. But you should also get subscribed to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications if you want to stay up to date with the news as soon as it drops. But otherwise, guys, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.